Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Ghazala Amin with PRM 700 Advanced Project Management within your MSPM course. This is continuation of one of the more interesting knowledge areas of project management. We covered project HR management, which is the human resource management, within the last two presentations, and now we would like to move on to the communications management. Project communication management. A typical project manager's life, during the life cycle of the project, 95%, according to the statistics, is spent communicating. Communication is not just verbal communication. Communication includes various other aspects of it, and we'll continue to talk about some of those during the next two presentations and also beyond that. The reference study material, as a reiteration of where we are and what we have done, continue to go through the PMBOK guide. This would be the chapter 10 of 4th edition. Focus a lot on study notes, and if you need to go through more of reference material, I would suggest that you go through the Dr. Harold Kerzner's book, which is given to you or provided to you as one of the reference material. Why communication? Project manager spends a considerable amount of time communicating and interacting with project stakeholders. During all these communications, whether these are within the NGO sector, you talk about the donor beneficiary, within the more of the corporate sector, we continue to use the word customers and sponsors, and different titles given to different organizations. But one thing should be very clear. Whoever the stakeholders are, direct or indirect, focus more on the direct stakeholders and how to communicate with them. While you are assessing the need to communicate with the stakeholders, one thing should be very, very clear in your head. Project priorities need to have the maximum attention. So, while you're working with your project team members, project priorities should be number one. Don't get too excited, don't get too close socially with them or attached to them emotionally because of certain situations. Again, with the upward communication, your sponsors, your customers, your donors, whoever those people are, you need to ensure that the communication that you are having with them has one thing very clear, that project priorities is number one on the list, and you are trying to meet those goals and objectives. Some statistics say 95%, but basically if we average out, 75 to 90% of project managers' time is involved in communication. Communication management, when we talk about just the communication management, it incorporates all the processes required to ensure timely and appropriate development, collection, dissemination, storage, and disposition of project information. That means all the information that you are collecting, that you are using, that you are dispersing, and then you are storing and archiving, all that project information is contained within the knowledge area of communication management. Before moving on to the next slide, let's ensure that we all understand that as project managers, you have to understand that within all the communication, you're only targeting meeting your project priorities. Avoid nonsensical kind of conversations. Don't try to get yourself too involved in meeting the whims of and the demands of your upper sponsors or also within your team members. Don't get too involved in the little politics that does not affect your project. Ensure that all communication that is going on is trying to meet the project priorities. A cartoon that we all have seen, or in different ways, not just have seen but also experienced, breakdown of communication. If you start off with a little swing in your backyard, you're trying to put up a little swing, a very, very small hypothetical kind of simple example for your children to play with, and you have this big tree in your backyard. What you really wanted was a simple swing for your children to play with during the summer break, as proposed by the project sponsor. Now think of the marketing team. When they hear your demands and your requirements, your project requirements, they propose a 3-tiered wonderful swing as specified in the project request. And now we're thinking of scope statement. Well, scope statement, one of the major thing is that you are not only looking at the stated need, but the implied need. And the implied need is something that you have to go in and grasp. The stated need is so unclear and ambiguous at times that you will come up with the next picture, which has 3 strings, as designed by the engineer. Being an electrical engineer myself, I don't like this picture, but sometimes engineering department does come up with pictures and drawings that are not really in tune with the reality. So I don't agree with this picture, but this is something that we picked up from one of the reference materials. So it is as designed by the engineer and then as produced by manufacturing. So let's not put all the blame game on the engineering department. Moving on to the manufacturing department, sometimes the product that is manufactured is far away from reality and far away from practical needs. As installed at the user site, wow, they have broken down the whole, according to them, they've broken down the whole tree, cut that tree into half. But what the user really wanted was a simple swing. It could have been a used tire with a simple string or a rope hanging on one of the stronger branches of the tree, and that was sufficient for the user. This is how communication breaks down. So why so much emphasis on communication? There is so much emphasis on communication because you're not only working with the stated need of the customer. From the beginning and from the initiation phase, you are actually looking at the implied needs of the customer, and you're trying to meet and exceed their expectations. With that, you have to go in, communicate, use your analyst abilities to grab the information what the customer is not readily sharing with you, but you ask the right questions, you put up the right surveys to grab the information which is kind of being withheld from your project members. And sometimes that is not done because they don't want to share that information, is because it's so simple and they assume that they don't need to go into a lot of detail about that, and they think that it is common sense. Common sense is not very common. So this picture is an ideal picture to represent different departments, especially in a functional organization. When departments work in vacuum, without the authority or without the authoritative role of a project manager who has been engaged from the initiation to the closure phase, then some of this communication breakdown does happen. So what does PMBOK has to say about the project communication management? Project communication management includes the processes needed to ensure timely and appropriate generation, collection, dissemination, storage, and ultimate disposition of project information. Same words repeated from the previous slide. Project communication management is considered the lifeblood of the project. Communication is often a challenging undertaking, and difficulties in or a total breakdown of communication can severely impede a project. Processes covered under Project Communication Management, and according to the 4th edition, these are some of the processes that are covered under this particular knowledge area, spanning through different phases of the project life cycle. Identification of stakeholder, and this is done in the initiation phase. Information distribution, performance reporting, and then stakeholder management. So the 5 processes according to PMBOK are what we just talked about in the previous slide. But the first phase, the initiation phase, you start off with identification of stakeholder. Within the initiation phase, you only have 2 processes. And one of the more important process within the initiation phase is identification of the stakeholders, whether they are direct stakeholders or indirect stakeholders. This would be the time to identify them, put together some kind of needs and expectations, especially the end users, who will be using it, who is representing their case, some kind of communication, and all out there to understand not just the stated need, not just the 2 or the 3 sentences that have been put together, but the implied needs also. Then when you go into the planning phase of the project, it's planning of communication. How will we communicate? What is the process? How often will it be done? Where will it be done? So all the who, what, when, where kind of questions regarding the stakeholders and the communication with each one of them needs to be planned out in the planning phase. Remember, at the planning phase, you can continuously go back and forth to the drawing board, because if you remember the little bell curve, you have minimum resources during the planning phase also. So it gives you a leverage to continue to go talk and spend more time without costing the project big money, because if you look at the bell curve during the execution phase, you have majority of the resources and you're using majority of the resources, and this time resources include human resources and the money resources, the cost resources, and also the material resources. Moving on, the execution phase. Now you're out there, you're doing the work, and you are responsible for doing one extremely important thing as a project manager, is you are providing status not only to your team members but to the customer and the sponsors, and also to your people who are considered your lateral communication group. And then managing stakeholders' expectation. An important thing that we talked about in the HR management was making sure that your stakeholders are within a hand's distance, so that they are not out there micromanaging your project. That means they are not interfering in day-to-day activities of your project, and at the same time they are not so far away that when you need their help, when you need their assistance, they are not out there. So managing and keeping stakeholders informed and at all times at a hand's distance, so that they can actually help your project move in the right direction when needed. Then the control, the monitoring and the control phase of it. We talked about planned tasks versus the actual tasks, and this is the variance. What did we plan, and now during execution, what is the variance between the actual task and how much time, how much cost is it incurring compared to what was planned out in the planning phase? The first process in the initiation phase is the stakeholder identification. Who are the stakeholders? Project stakeholders are individuals who are directly involved in project deliverables. These are the direct stakeholders, or part of the project organization that is responsible for the project. And who is this? This is your team, project team, or individuals that are positively or negatively affected by the project. So it's not just people who are getting positive. Sometimes, for example, we use the example of building a road, 7th Avenue. If you build a road, or if you build a M2, a motorway highway, there are people who will get positively affected by your project, right? They could be people who got reimbursed very well for their land, but somehow, somewhere, there would also be people who would be negatively affected. They had their house that was very close and dear to them. They had very fertile land. The compensation can never take care of what they would have gained over the years because of the fertility of the ground. And what are they? Yes, they did get reimbursed upfront, but over a long period of time, and they do understand that this is not affecting them positively. These are the negative stakeholders. One thing that I would like to share with you, why is it so important? The negative stakeholders can sometimes sabotage your project knowingly or unknowingly. And that is why during the initiation phase, you have to work on plans that will be able to take care of some of those risks and issues. If they sabotage them, if they sabotage your project, then how will you deal with them? There could be additional compensation. If there is a legal suit, then you have to make sure that there is a line item in your project plan or in your WBS to take care of that situation. Or you have a legal team that is continued to monitor your project. So, managing your negative stakeholders is as important as managing your positive stakeholders. Okay, now let's move on to understand who are these project stakeholders. It could include project managers, project team members, your customer, the performing organization. Performing organization is the team that is working on your project. Your sponsors, the end users. We were working with a group of NGOs recently, and the term and terminology may be a little different in different organizations. So the donors, the beneficiaries, the end users, or the affectees, these are all your stakeholders. And there are so many that varying from project to project that we cannot add all of them in this particular slide. So the list goes on and on and on. The next process is the communications planning. It involves determining the information and communication needs of the stakeholders. Who needs what information? When they will need it? And how will it be given to them? And by whom will it be given to them? Again, what we said in the previous slide is reiteration of the same concept. Communication planning in the planning phase focuses on the who, what, when, how, and whom kind of questions. And remember, in the planning phase where you're doing your communications planning, you're only on the drawing board. So you have the leverage of spending time to plan out how you will be communicating with your stakeholders. The majority of communication planning is usually done in the early phases of the project. However, the process results should be regularly reviewed and revised as appropriate. Remember the little bubbles that we talked about, the initiation phase, the arrow going to the planning phase, and then the execution and the monitoring, and then the closure phase? One arrow went back from the monitoring and controlling phase to the planning phase. So if you see any gaps and holes, it's not a one-way road from planning. You have an opportunity as project managers and project coordinators to actually go back to the drawing board if you see gaps and holes in communication. You should go back to your stakeholders, especially your sponsors and your project team members, to understand and then revise your communication plan. And that is what the italicized line says in the bottom of your slide. Lots of little bullets all over the place. Under the communications planning, the communication requirement. Relationship responsibilities between project organization and stakeholders. Communication requirement also include the disciplines, the departments, and the specialties involved in the project. You also think about how many individuals are involved, where and when. You also pay a lot of importance to projects or programs where external communication needs are there. For example, communication with the media. Strict rules have to be put together that not all your project team members are supposed to go out and be talking to media about the progress or status of your project or issues of your project. There should always be one representative. If your project has sensitive needs, either from defense perspective or any legal binding, then all of the project team members should sign a legal binding document that says that I will not communicate the progress or the status of my project or any issues or changes of my project with any external stakeholders. That could be media, that could be your competitive organizations, that could be your customer, whoever. So there is a legal binding out there that restricts your team members from sharing the information or reporting any status, whether directly or indirectly, to any external stakeholders. In your communication planning, we also have a very important topic that we need to understand, is the communication channels. Upward communication to the management, the lateral communication to friends, your social groups, and both formal and informal groups. Lateral communication in a functional organization would also be to your peers. People who are doing similar projects within your project organization. Other functional groups, and sometimes your customers or subcontractors in that case. You're working with another big organization and you've outsourced one of the products to those customers, or to those, not to the customers, but to the line managers or to other peer project managers. Then the downward communication to your subordinates and the project office personnel. We're going to look at a picture in the next slide, but understand that channel is the medium by which information is transmitted. This picture says it all. You are the project manager who is in the center. Now is your top management, your customers, your sponsors, whoever the upward management is. Then that's considered the upward communication. Your lateral communication are your customers, your line managers, and other project managers. Then you have your downward communication. People who are part of your team members or people who are part of your project. These are your project team members. Let's spend a couple of minutes on this particular slide and understand why is this so important. Top management requirement of status is very, very different than the status that needs to be given to your project team members as downward communication. Top management is interested in basically three things: that your project scope is being met, cost is being met, and the time, that you are on track. Something we call green status. And green status is, think of the green signal where you're going on the road, you're driving a car and you see green signal. That means everything is good and you're progressing as planned. Food for thought at this point in time. The signal could be red, yellow or green. Green means it's all good. Red means that you're a dead standstill. Unless and until you get the appropriate help, you cannot move forward. Prior to becoming red, you should be in a yellow status. That means you should be able to see or foresee issues or risks that are right there on the horizon and will stop you if it's not given appropriate attention at this point in time. In a week or in next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, your project can become or go into a red status. Top management is only interested in high level ideas. They don't need to know, and sometimes they don't want to know, the nitty-gritty details of your project. They are interested in the milestones, they are interested in the bigger achievement. They only need to know everything is good and you are on track and progressing well. When you're developing your communication plan, focus on these areas when you're communicating with your top management. The project team members, on the other hand, are very interested in knowing and understanding the nitty-gritty details. So they need to know if somebody is going on vacation for 2 weeks, who will be shadowing that person or who will be taking over those tasks. They also need to know the status of individual tasks. So once I am done, who can get started? Or will this person A get done on time so I can start my task, because there is a dependency between these two tasks. These are very, very specific kind of detail that only your team members are interested in. Team members are also interested in raising issues. Who are the first people who would see issues? Sometimes it's not you as a project manager, it is the team, your project team, that is working on the details. So getting that information from them as issues or risks or changes, and then sharing the right information with them is also a very detailed task that needs to be done by the project manager. So what a difference and variation between status report given to the upward management and the downward team members or the downward communication. Then comes the customers and the line managers. Think of government regulating agencies. It's always on need to know basis. They are as needed. They are people who need to be informed at appropriate levels, so there is no surprise aspect of it. Remember, informed customer is a happy customer, and a surprise customer is never a happy customer. Communications planning. Channel is the medium by which information is transmitted. We talked about upward, downward, lateral, and in between there's this project manager with arrows going all over the place, sideways, upward, downward, double arrows going in, back and forth. Poor project manager being the center of the attraction, center of the universe of project management, of your project life cycle. So all these channels are the mediums by which information is being transmitted. Communication channel. As the number of people involved in the communication increases, the complexity of your communication also increases. So larger and complex the project is, more effort is needed upfront during communications planning process to make sure that you don't miss out on any communication need, and also you don't over communicate with people who don't need to know all of the nitty-gritty details. And that is why it's so important to understand who needs to know what, when, and who is responsible for sharing that information. As the number of people involved in the communication increases, the number of communication channels increases geometrically and exponentially. Mathematically, there is one formula that is provided. Number of channels equal n parentheses n minus 1 divided by 2. N bracket n minus 1 divided by 2. And what is n? N is the number of people involved in it, and number of people involved in the project. So in the initiation phase, you have very few people. The bell curve, more and more people are added. In the planning phase, you add more people, it starts becoming more complex. We all understand कि जितने ज़्यादा लोग होते हैं, communicating medium, the number increases, or it becomes more and more challenging and complex. 4 लोगों, ideal project management या project का जो number है of team members, ideally हम कहते हैं 6 to 8. That's an ideal number of project team members in a project. 6 to 8 को आप क्या कर सकते हैं as a project manager? They're easier to manage. Communication आसान होती है. उनके issues आप सुन सकते हैं, उनसे आप share कर सकते हैं, उनको आप understand कर सकते हैं, वो काम करते हैं, आपको काम का पता चल जाता है. So all these things are important. जब ये 6 से 8 मेंबर की टीम अगर 20 या 22 लोगों की टीम बन जाती है या उससे भी ज़्यादा बढ़ना शुरू हो जाती है, तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ ऐड होने लग जाती हैं आपके प्रोजेक्ट में. एंड इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट कि यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस एज अ प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर, योर स्टेक होल्डर्स अंडरस्टैंड दैट as an issue also. Okay? Right in the communication planning. अभी अगर हम communication planning में और आपको पता है कि आपका जो टीम है जिससे आप शेयर कर रहे हो या काम करने वाले हो वो 20 या 22 लोग या उससे भी ज़्यादा लोगों का है, तो during the planning phase you have to spend appropriate amount of time planning the needs and how this information will be disseminated. कम्युनिकेशन चैनल को अगर हम रिप्रेजेंट करें नंबर्स में, हमने क्या कहा था, उसका जो फॉर्मूला है नंबर ऑफ चैनल इक्वल n माइनस 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 2. अब n इज द नंबर ऑफ पीपल. 2 लोग हैं अगर आपके प्रोजेक्ट में, नंबर ऑफ चैनल इज 1. आप बात करते हैं, वो सुनते हैं, वो आपको स्टेटस देते हैं और बड़ी जिंदगी आसान है. मगर क्या कोई प्रोजेक्ट ऐसा है जिसमें सिर्फ 2 ही लोग हों, आप और एक काम करने वाला? Usually it's not possible. Let's move on to having 4 people in your project now. Again, If you're adding a sponsor, you're adding a customer, you're adding a person or people who are doing the work. Again, 4 लोगों की टीम तो बहुत small team consider की जाती है. मगर अब क्या है? Number of channel will become 6. अगर आप n, looking at the formula, n में आप 4 डालें, फिर bracket में 4 minus 1 which is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 2. इसका मतलब क्या है? Number of channels are now 6. Just by adding 2 people, your number of channel increases to 15. If you substitute n with 6, it's 6 times n minus 1, which is 5. 6 times 5, 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. सोचिए 2 लोग अगर आप ऐड करते जा रहे हैं या 4 लोग ऐड करते जा रहे हैं तो larger, more complex, more the need for you to go out and about and spend more time carefully scrutinizing the needs of these stakeholders and put appropriate milestones in place to understand कि whether you are meeting these needs or not. और आपका काम एज प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर उतना ही बढ़ता जाता है विद एवरी पर्सन दैट इज गेटिंग एडेड टू योर टीम. सो कभी ये ना समझें कि मोर पीपल ईजियर द वर्क, मोर पीपल हार्डर द कम्युनिकेशन. एक छोटा सा हम एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं कि कम्युनिकेशन चैनल की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज क्या हो सकती हैं. अच्छा, अब देखते हैं कि अगर नंबर ऑफ चैनल वी नो इट इज n minus 1 over 2. थिंक ऑफ अ 3-member टीम ड्यूरिंग द प्लानिंग फेज. प्लानिंग फेज में एक तो प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर आ गया और 2 और लोग आ गए. सो 2 more people are added during the execution phase. Planning phase में number of channels will be 3 times 2, 6 divided by 2, 3. So in the planning phase, communication was still easier. You were able to manage it very well. आप बिजनेस कस्टमर के पास जाते थे, आते थे, सर्विस क्वेश्चनियर्स उनके साथ शेयर करते थे, उनकी इनपुट लेते थे, आते थे, एक छोटी सी मीटिंग हो जाती थी, मे बी ओवर अ लंच और अ टी ब्रेक, एंड एवरीथिंग वॉज क्लियरिफाइड, डॉक्यूमेंटेड, बिकॉज अब आपके साथ सिर्फ 2 और टीम मेंबर्स हैं. एक शेयरिंग का बहुत आसान सा कॉन्सेप्ट है इन दिस सिचुएशन. अब हम बेल कर्व में आ गए हैं. प्लानिंग फेज से जब हम एग्जीक्यूशन फेज में जाने की तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं, अज्यूम कि हमने 2 और लोगों को अब प्रोजेक्ट में ऐड कर लिया. जब 2 और लोग ऐड हुए तो अब हमारी टीम 3 के बजाय 5 लोगों की बन गई है. 5 लोगों का मतलब क्या है? 5 times 5 minus 1, 4. 5 times 4, 20 divided by 2. That means number of channels are now 10. अब कितने channels हो गए? कितने channels add हुए? 7. You are going to subtract number of channels in the planning phase from the execution phase minus number of channels that existed in the planning phase. So execution phase में 10 channels थे, planning phase में 3 channels थे, उनको subtract किया और number of channels added with addition of 2 members is 7. अब इसको आप पेपर और पेंसिल लेके देखें कि जब हम 4 लोगों को और ऐड करते हैं एग्जीक्यूशन फेज में तो इसी तरह से एक्सपोनेंशियली हमारा नंबर ऑफ चैनल्स एंड कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन इंक्रीजेस. थोड़ा सा हम अगर बायोलॉजी की तरफ चले जाएं और इसमें थोड़ा सा फोकस करें, बट डू नॉट ट्राई टू मेमोराइज दिस you will not be asked to reproduce this little picture. It is only to understand few things. ठीक है? So don't just listen to what we have to say, share it, understand it after the lecture, मगर इसको ड्रॉ करने की कोशिश ना करना, और इसको you will never be asked questions or you will not be asked to reproduce this particular picture. So अगर इस communication process में हम देखें कि क्या हो रहा है, किस तरह से बात की जा रही है और किस तरह से perceive किया जा रहा है. Message is the sensory data that is encoded by the communicator. And who's the communicator? The communicator is the sender. And it is decoded by the receiver. And who's the receiver? The recipient. मैं आपसे बात कर रही हूँ, मैं sender हूँ और आप recipient हैं. मैं encode करके भेज रही हूँ और आप इस message को decode कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? Let's start off with the left side. The region of experience for the source. Okay, it's me actually trying to talk to you. So I am the encoder. There's always a personality screen in between. And it depends on how I want to share that information with you. हमने HR management में बड़ी तरह की बातें की थी, मगर इसका मैं जब आपसे इन बात करती हूँ तो मेरी भी एक personality screen है. I could have a smiling face, I could be friendly, or I could be one of those aggressive project managers who are very loud, bossy, authoritative, whatever that is, whatever my personality screen is, जो भी मैं बात करती हूँ उसको जब आप तक जा रही है वो information, तो मेरी personality का एक पर्दा है जिससे गुजर के वो आप तक पहुँच रही है वो बात. अब region of experience for the receiver, जो सुन रहा है ये बात, उसके पास एक पर्सनालिटी स्क्रीन नहीं, उसके पास एक परसेप्शन स्क्रीन है. परसेप्शन स्क्रीन क्या होगी? परसेप्शन स्क्रीन ये होगी कि आप किसी बात से बहुत अनॉयड हैं, बहुत गुस्से में हैं, और आपको पता लग रहा है कि ये जो प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर जो भी मुझसे बात कर रहा है वो उसके पीछे कोई अंडरलाइंग रीजंस हैं, या ये आदमी तो कभी सही बात करता ही नहीं है. अगर आपका ये परसेप्शन है तो no matter what this person is saying, you are really not hearing. आप जो भी वो कहता है, you are always going to perceive this as negative. है ना? अब ये मैं आपसे बात कर रही हूँ या प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर आपको कुछ रिले करने की कोशिश कर रहा है और आप सुनी को अनसुनी करना चाह रहे हैं, या you have that perception of I really don't want to hear what he's saying. It's all nonsense. He's always trying to tell me to do more work. पिछले हफ्ते मैंने 50 घंटे काम किए थे और मैंने पूरा सैटरडे अपना उस रिपोर्ट पे खर्च कर दिया, और अगर जो भी है they keep telling me कि डेडलाइन मीट करना है. I am not ready to spend this weekend again to understand or do this extra work. चाहे ये प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर आपको किसी तरह से भी रिले करने की कोशिश करे कि how important this task is, you have this perception that you are getting overworked and you are doing more work than what is needed from you. So ये personality screen है और ये perception screen है. अब आप जब यही information relay करते हैं project manager को, think of a hypothetical reason of or example as now you're trying to tell the person that you will not be able to do the work. So अब now you are the encoder and you have a personality screen. Either you look really humble or you'll become very aggressive. आप reasons बता सकते हैं अपने, और आप reason बताना चाहेंगे project manager को of why you don't want to work that extra time. You have family, you know, you have obligations to meet, you have commitments, you've invited people over for dinner on Saturday, and you have to work during the day to actually manage that dinner very well. Your personality screen could either be very aggressive, annoyed, humble, whatever that is. The project manager also has this perception screen now. If that project manager thinks that you're not putting in extra effort, that you always have an excuse of working on weekends, You always have family issues. Then you're the perception screen built at that point in time by the project manager, who is now the decoder of the information that is coming from you. That will take over the message. So you could have a very, very valid, very true issue about not being able to work that weekend, but your project manager or the person who's listening to you has this perception of you coming up with more excuses and being untruthful about the situation. And it's all only because you don't want to work that extra hour or extra hours, right? So जब हम बात करते हैं तो हमारी पर्सनालिटी स्क्रीन आ जाती है, जब हम बात सुनते हैं तो हमारी परसेप्शन स्क्रीन आ जाती है, चाहे आप एनकोडर हो या आप डिकोडर हो, because decoder will become encoders and the encoders could become decoders. सिंपल सा मैसेज है इस स्लाइड में. Message is the sensory data that is encoded by the communicator, which is the sender, and decoded by the receiver, which is the recipient. While all this personality screen and the perception, encoding, decoding is going on, there's a term for it. It's called communications filtering. Occurs when a large portion of the message is lost from the sender to the receiver. Communication filtering क्या होती है? जब जो आप कहना चाह रहे हैं वो सुनने वाले के पास पहुंच ही नहीं रहा, और सिर्फ ये इसलिए नहीं कि आपको उसकी आवाज नहीं सुनाई दे रही है. Being part of the virtual campus, and you're not part of a classroom with a lot of other attendees or the audience with one teacher up front, there's a lot going around you, or there could be a lot going on around you. So the focus that you need to put in, or the effort to develop that focus, is much more for you who's listening to me at this point in time than people who are in a classroom environment and can actually see the body language of other recipients and can also ask and signal for questions during that conversation. So think about communication filtering in your case. If there's a lot going on, there is sound, there's noise, people are actually trying to get your attention to do different work while you're trying to also absorb what the lecturer or the presenter is trying to tell you, you are going through something called communication filtering also. Communication filtering is also generally caused by problems of language. Sometimes culture, semantics, knowledge base, etc. ये जो एक वर्ड है, इसके ऊपर हम एक लेक्चर प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. Again, most of you who are actually listening to this lecture, English may or may not be your first language. Most probably is not your first language. जो लेक्चर डिलीवर कर रहा है वो consistently एक foreign language, which is let's take English, even though it's a very popular foreign language, but should still be considered a foreign language. Presenter अगर continuously English में बोल रहा है तो हो सकता है कि आपको उसकी हर बात समझ ना आ रही हो. And in my case, that could be true. I feel more comfortable relaying my information in English because I'm used to it and I feel comfortable in talking in English. You may or may not be in the same situation. So, if you are not, then some of the information that I'm targeting, that I'm trying to convey to you, could be lost because of this difference in comfort level of the language. एक और चीज culture. Sometimes culture plays an important role and is very, very crucial in communication filtering. People don't like, in some cultures, people don't like rowdy behavior. They don't like the aggressiveness. So as presenters or as trainers or as teachers, when we go into this culture and we have this aggressive way of teaching, then the audience and the listener kind of gets subdued and goes into a shell. You may assume that you have conveyed the message, but they are not listening to you. They're assuming and thinking that you're a bully, and you're unnecessarily shouting at them. अगर आप अमेरिकन कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर और जापानीज़, द टिपिकल जो जापानीज़ कल्चर जिसको हम कहते हैं, अब तो खैर सारी दुनिया एक छोटी सी दुनिया बन गई है, हम सब एक ही तरह के इधर से उधर घूम रहे हैं और आई थिंक माइंडसेट्स भी हमारे सिमिलर होते जा रहे हैं. मगर अगर आप अमेरिका और जापान का देखें, वहाँ ज़्यादातर लोग सबड्यूड हैं, दे डोंट लाइक टू बी बॉसी. मगर अगर कोई अमेरिकन ट्रेनर होता है जिसको आदत होती है थोड़ा ज़ोर से बोलने की, जस्ट टू गेट देयर पॉइंट अक्रॉस, टू काइंड ऑफ गेट पीपल्स अटेंशन, यू नो, गेट देम मोटिवेटेड, गेट देम आउट एंड अबाउट, ताकि एक इंटरैक्टिव सेशन हो. अगर उसी ट्रेनर को उठा के आप जापान ले जाएं और कहें कि इस ग्रुप में ट्रेनिंग करा दे, those people are more receptive, they are more courteous, and sometimes even when they're not understanding your point of view, they will not go out and about to relay that message to you. They'll calmly listen and maybe just try to absorb it. If you become too aggressive in your training techniques, then they will go into a shell and all this communication will be lost. Knowledge base बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. सेमेंटिक्स की भी बात करते हैं, दीज आर कॉल्ड द लिंगोस, मगर लेट्स मूव ऑन. सेमेंटिक्स जस्ट गो आउट, यू नो, दिस इज द लैंग्वेज डिफरेंसेस. नॉलेज बेस, आप अज्यूम कर रहे हैं, पढ़ाने वाला अज्यूम कर रहा है कि मैं एक इस लेवल से स्टार्ट करता हूँ और जो मुझे सुनने वाले हैं उनको ऑलरेडी पता है, दे आर ऑलरेडी एट दैट लेवल. दैट मीन्स यू आर गोइंग इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग, थिंकिंग दैट ऑल आर may you know have more or at least some project management experience, know the terms and terminologies, and you start off from this level. People who are listening to me may or may not be at this level. So based on the knowledge base that I'm assuming and I'm sharing, continuously talking about the concerns at this level, and you are at this level, then understand the gap. Filtering can be deliberate. अब हम बात करते हैं, ये सारी तो बातें हुई थी, unknowingly और knowingly इस तरह की filtering हो सकती है. मगर कई situation में ना filtering also needs to be deliberate and positive. और इसमें हम example use करेंगे upward communication का, where the subordinate, who is the subordinate in this case? Could be the project manager. Filters information that the superior does not need to want or know. हमने बात की थी कि ऊपर जो upward communication है, what are they interested in? They are interested in knowing that you are under budget, you're meeting your schedule, and at the same time meeting the scopes and requirements of the customer. And that there aren't any big issues that you're dealing with, everything is on track and you are making substantial progress based on the planned milestones. जो अपवर्ड स्पॉन्सर्स होते हैं या अपवर्ड कम्युनिकेशन चैनल्स होते हैं या आपके जो टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट होती है, दैट इज़ देयर इंटरेस्ट. अब हमको क्या करना है? We have all this information, right? As project manager, you are the center of everything that is going on with your project. हम क्या करते हैं as project managers? We have all this information, but हम उसको directly feed नहीं कर देते ऊपर, उसको हम filter कर देते हैं, ठीक है? उसमें से important information जो हम समझते हैं कि जो important information है, हम सिर्फ उनको status report में लिखते हैं और ऊपर disseminate करते हैं, ठीक है? In this case, you have the information but you are filtering it by writing the right words, by using the right terminologies. by only focusing on the issues that are important enough to be highlighted. So in this case, filtering is deliberate and positive, where the subordinate, being the project manager, is filtering the information that the sponsors and the customers need to know. And I'm taking out all the information which is considered irrelevant or which may be considered irrelevant by my customers and sponsors, and remove that information, so that when the upward communication channel is in effect, you only get information that you need to know, and that is important and relevant information. कम्युनिकेशंस टेक्नोलॉजी में बड़ी तरह तरह की चीज़ें इस वक्त मार्केट में आई हुई हैं, है ना. एक चीज़ जो हमने अभी नई डाली है वो सोशल मीडिया, जिसको हम कहते हैं पर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन. क्या होती है? वन ऑन वन विजिट्स, मीटिंग्स, एंड दीज आर फिजिकल इंटरेक्शन. चाहे आप बैठे हैं, मैं बैठी हूँ और हम इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर कर रहे हैं. फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, दैट इज़ टेलीफोन, वॉइस मेल, आजकल टेलीकॉन्फ्रेंस बहुत हो रहा है, सेल्यूलर फ़ोन से हम, पेजर तो खैर अब चला ही गया, मगर इसमें स्काइप भी हो सकता है ना, जहाँ हम अगर कहीं और हैं तो भी हम कोई एक्सेस है कि हम आपसे आराम से फेस टू फेस बात कर सकें, मगर ऑल इज स्टिल कंसिडर्ड अंडर द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टेक्नोलॉजी. उसके बाद हम रिटन में आते हैं. हाउ टू राइट the correct information is a very important aspect. Project manager need to be very expert in writing in the written communication area. Written में क्या क्या आ सकता है? Memo, letters, reports, transmittals, speed memo, ये चीज़ें भी हिस्ट्री का पार्ट हो गई हैं अब हमारे. मगर anything that is written, email that gets written and sent, ईमेल का एक सेंड बटन जब दब जाता है, इट्स आउट ऑफ योर हैंड्स. इट कैन बी कट, इट कैन बी रिप्रोड्यूस्ड, इट कैन बी इन सम सिचुएशन, यू नो, उसको लोग सैबोटाज भी कर सकते हैं, कट एंड पेस्ट करके चेंज भी कर सकते हैं. और सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल बिफोर प्रेसिंग दैट सेंड बटन. एक गलत चीज़ हो जाती है एंड इट गेट्स सेंट टू अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल. कई दफ़ा हम कॉन्फिडेंशियल मटेरियल सेंड करना चाह रहे होते हैं और गलती से रिप्लाई ऑल का बटन दब जाता है. ये सारी चीज़ें हम सब के साथ हो सकती हैं अगर अब तक हो नहीं चुकी होती हैं. फिर कंप्यूटर एडेड में ईमेल आ जाती है, जिसके मैंने अभी बात की. फिर इंटरनेट, इंटरनेट इस वक्त इट्स एन इरप्शन ऑफ डेटा. और फिर इंट्रानेट. इंटरनेट और इंट्रानेट का फ़र्क होपफुली आप सबको पता होगा. इंटरनेट तो पूरी दुनिया, everyone has access to it. Intranet could be your organization specific, so internal to your organization. ग्रुपवेयर, फैक्स, आजकल ये भी चीज़ें लगता है थोड़े दिन के बाद हिस्ट्री बन जाएंगी, मगर ये जो डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं, और इसमें अगर हम सारी चीज़ें कोशिश करें ऐड करने की तो ये लिस्ट कभी ख़त्म ना होने वाली लिस्ट बन जाएगी. तो कम्युनिकेशन हर तरह से हो रही है, वर्बल, नॉन वर्बल, बॉडी लैंग्वेज एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ. थोड़ा सा 5 मिनट अगर खर्च करें हम लोग उस पर बात करने के लिए कि वर्बल एक तो होता है कि जो आप अपनी बात करना चाह रहे हैं. फिर नॉन वर्बल या आपका जो बॉडी लैंग्वेज होता है, दैट इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. समटाइम जस्ट अ फ्रेंडली टच, हैंड शेक, हैंड जेस्चर्स, दे speak 1,000 words. When you go out and you want to feel confident, the handshake needs to be strong. That conveys to the customer that you're ready to do business with that person, that you know what you're doing and you're confident enough to take on the other challenges. Written communication बहुत important है. How to write the right words, understanding the communication challenges, the issues with adding more people, the complexities of planning, who does what, when, whom, इसको सब कुछ प्लान करना, ये जो डिटेल्स हैं ये सारी कम्युनिकेशन प्लानिंग फेज में आ जाती हैं. और एज प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर्स हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ये है कि हम हर प्रोसेस को सही टाइम दें, सही एफर्ट दें, ताकि जब हम एग्जीक्यूशन और मॉनिटरिंग फेज में चले जाएं तो ये चीज़ें हमको ज़्यादा ट्रबल ना दें. मगर ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग ये है कि वी कैन ओनली प्लान टू सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. जब हम मॉनिटरिंग एंड एग्जीक्यूशन फेज में आ जाते हैं तो सारी फ्लड लाइट्स आपके कम्युनिकेशंस पे आ जाती है, एंड दैट बिकम्स द मेजर वर्क फॉर यू. That is why one thing is important, that project communication management should not be restricted to a certain phase of project. It's a continuous and continual cycle. जहाँ gaps and holes देखे, go back to the planning board, fix it, update it, revise it, review it with your team members and then implement it. So इनिशिएशन से प्लानिंग, प्लानिंग से एग्जीक्यूशन, मॉनिटरिंग एंड कंट्रोल. जहाँ कोई गैप, कोई होल देखा, हम वी वेंट बैक टू द प्लानिंग फेज एंड देन मेकिंग श्योर दैट नो गैप्स एंड होल्स एग्जिस्ट ड्यूरिंग द एग्जीक्यूशन एंड मॉनिटरिंग फेज, ताकि जब हम क्लोजर फेज में चले जाएं तो ऑल इज डन क्लियरली, वेल कम्युनिकेटेड प्रोसेस. With this, I would like to say Allah Hafiz to you, best of luck, और we are progressing at a very wonderful good speed. हमने काफ़ी सारे नॉलेज एरियाज़ की बात की, फेजेस की बात की. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में हम लोग विल कंटिन्यू टू टॉक अबाउट द प्रोजेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन मैनेजमेंट नॉलेज एरिया, एंड देयर इज स्टिल अ लॉट टू शेयर विथ यू एंड वर्क विथ यू. So Allah Hafiz, good luck, and I will see you again with the next lecture.